And a good evening. Happy Wednesday to each and every one of you out there currently watching Thoughts Count Anywhere, coming to you live from the Go Live Vegas studios here in the heart. See the little segue thing there, the little thing I did there? The heart of Las Vegas, Nevada. I am Aaron Phillips, Scott Hosey at the dais, Matt Mullen at the dais, Jason Piper on the casting couch. You can leave that for whatever it's worth. Aaron Ellicus on the board as always, and more importantly, you, the fan out there with your eyeballs. Tonight, gentlemen, we have a great show. Why don't you share with what we got going on?
Well, first of all, we have our...
Sorry, I didn't mean to wake you up, fellas.
Yeah. First of all, we have our normal run of things, but we have, like you said, a Hart. Ross Hart will be in just a few minutes.
That was the little thing I was trying to get out
exactly.
there. See if anybody caught it.
And he'll be talking about Stampede Wrestling, along with a lot of the things that you might want to ask. So if you want to call in, give us a call, share us in the chat room, ask the questions in the chat room, and we can actually talk to him about...
Twitter. Don't forget Twitter.
We have Twitter now.
Tweet us. Tell them, Matt.
At TCA702, use hashtag Thoughtscountanywhere, and it'll come up on the screen, and we'll ask whatever question you want.
But they don't have to go just on our page to do the hashtag. They can tweet from their own page.
Yeah, you tweet from your own page, and you put hashtag Thoughtscountanywhere, and it'll come up on our news feed on the screen.
Absolutely. So we can share questions there. We're monitoring the chat room. And, of course, our phone numbers, if you're here within the United States, 702-329-6947. 702-329-6947. If you're out of the country, 855-502-4321. Check out the crawl that's there as well. You can see some of the news and events within the wrestling world crawling at the bottom of the page, and also a little message about advertising is there as well. Mr. Scott?
Absolutely. If you'd like to advertise on our show here or any of our other shows, which is Power Play Sports Collectibles, you have the Twin Brothers show, and just give us a call or send us an email at info@thoughtscountanywhere.com.
And, of course, we're being watched right now on YouTube, right?
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
Sorry, didn't mean to wake you up, Matt. It's okay.
I'm awake.
Jason, I'll have to come to you next, okay? So we got our YouTube channel. We're also live on the Go Live app.
Yep.
Okay, you can download that if you want to just catch the audio. And we're just all over the place. That's the bottom line. All right, before we get to our special guest tonight, I do believe we have a couple of quick, and I mean quick topics, and I hear voices. Number one, Stinger. Talk about that, Matt.
With Sting's contract up in WWE, there's rumors he might be going to AEW. But with him not being able to wrestle and with his age, what could he do really except for... There was rumors he was going to hand the belt to whoever won the TNT tournament, but that kind of been...
Apparently that's been changed.
That's been changed to Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
So...
Maybe it's just a presence kind of thing. Adds credibility maybe if Sting comes down the ring with somebody. I don't know.
Yeah, he'd be a horrible manager or caretaker, whatever you want to call it.
Caretaker.
I mean, what could he be? I mean, he's got to be in the ring. Even as a special guest referee, doesn't work. He's probably best staying with WWE for the media exposure. If he wants to sell more hats, T-shirts, and action figures, which, by the way, got pulled because of his contract, you might want to stay where the money is right now. And I know everybody's going to say, Tony Khan, and money. Unless you sell hats and T-shirts and merchandise, wrestling does not make money.
Speaking of merchandise, check out the new hats we got. Thoughts Count Anywhere. Who did these for us? You want to give them a little pop? Or
oh, yeah, actually.
Do we want to wait to get the whole order first?
We get the whole order, but fantastic embroidery over at the Boulevard Mall.
There you go.
Yes, where Power Play Sports Collectibles is. They do all my embroidering for Power Play Sports Collectibles, and now Thoughts Count Anywhere.
There you go. All right, one quick other topic. Rey Mysterio falls off the roof at Money in the Bank. Miraculously, he's back on the show Monday night at Raw, and he decides, Seth Rollins apparently decides to help him stick his eyeball in the steps. And is he on the way out, gentlemen?
I could see him possibly doing something with another promotion. He's gone and done stuff with like Lucha Underground and came back, and I can see AEW wanting him or something. But I see him staying with WWE where
his son is coming up in the organization too, isn't he?
Yeah, he said his ultimate goal is to have a tag team match with his son before he retires, like his dad did with him.
Right.
So if he goes anywhere else, that dream's kiboshed.
Right. Jason, how about you? What's your thoughts on Mysterio? Sorry, I didn't mean to wake you up over there. It's okay.
It's the same thing. It's Ray has spent quite a few years with WWE after he left with WCW and moved over. So it'd be only fitting to see him keep his legacy right there with his son.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I'd be surprised if he goes elsewhere. Thomas shares he doesn't see Ray leaving. Kelby shares with us that they ran into Ray at Vegas Toy Con. So we appreciate everybody that's in the chat room. But now, without further ado, let me do this quick introduction. Our guest tonight, Mr. Ross Hart. He is a Canadian-American retired professional wrestler, promoter, trainer, booker, TV producer, coach, and actor. Hart is a member of the Hart wrestling family and the second youngest son of Stu and Helen Hart. He is best known for his work in Stampede Wrestling as well as WWE. Please welcome to the show at this moment, Mr. Ross Hart. Welcome, sir. How are you tonight? Do you have his pod up? We do not hear him. Okay, go again. Hi, Ross.
Hey, how you guys doing? Can you
There
hear me?
you are.
There he is.
We got you now. Our Aaron E. fell asleep at the switch. Sorry about that. Welcome to Thoughts Count Anywhere. We appreciate you taking time with us tonight.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, listen, there's obviously so many different questions and directions we can go, but I think for me, obviously we could talk about the legacy and the family lineage, but I think when you hear the word Hart, most people attribute the second word dungeon to that. So, how did that all come about? I know your dad was obviously in the business, and how did that bloodline funnel down to the rest of the family to want to be involved?
Well, as far as the dungeon, that was the training center. If you wanted to step in the ring, you had to go through the dungeon and my dad. And that was a very hard initiation because, it was meant to teach guys respect for wrestling and to show them submission wrestling so they could use it if they had to. If they had to defend themselves against other shooters, or if a brawl emerged with another wrestler, or if you were just challenged by a fan or a mark, and not all fans are pushovers. Sometimes you get a rodeo star or some construction worker, that wanted to take you on, would challenge you in a bar or at a rodeo or sometimes at a show. And, you had to know how to defend yourself. So the dungeon was the training center for so many great stars, including my brothers. A lot of them got their start there. A lot of them worked out there after they had broken in somewhere else. But, and considering it's just a one-room place with a small ceiling and no open windows or air conditioning, it's amazing how many great stars came from the dungeon.
Yeah, anybody over 6 feet looks like they might have had a problem. Scott?
Well, I heard a lot of stories from Nick Bockwinkel, who was like my father in the business, good dear friend for many years, especially when he moved here to Vegas. He would tell He would tell me about the dungeon and Stu, and he came, for the AWA with the Ganyas. So the dungeon and the barn are just historic for training and working out those kids that had the dreams, and then after the first 10 minutes in the ring, or even before they get in the ring, the old days you couldn't even get in the ring for quite a while. It was over. So, the days of, the dungeon and the barn with the Ganya, I honestly wish they'd come back, because I see so many schools out there now that just, high spots, this, that, and they're not really teaching the basics. So, for your aspect, Ross, how long was it before, let's say Jason, a kid coming in, how long for the dungeon before he actually saw the ring?
It really varied. For some guys, they got a crash course in the dungeon, especially if they were, say, football players or maybe boxers getting a transition and taking a crash course before they wrestled, sometimes because of an ankle. But for most guys, it was usually 10 to 12 months, of working out with my dad 2 to 3 times a week. And for my dad, that was sort of his release. All day he was working on the shows, getting the wrestlers to the shows, taking phone calls from different wrestlers and promoters. And the evenings, when he was home, when he wasn't on the road, that was his time in the dungeon. And he considered some of them to be kind of like guinea pigs, to keep his own strength and conditioning up. A lot of them he viewed as pretty good prospects, and if they kept coming back to him after the first few sessions, my dad saw something in them, and they would usually get their chance to break in, within a year.
The picture that's up on the screen now is a great picture from the CAC when the Hart family got the induction there.
Yeah, that was when my dad was inducted. Yeah.
Yep, great family. And then, off to the side, you have Bobby Heenan, one of the greats of all time, sitting there also. So that was just a great picture by itself.
Yeah, it really was. I think that was maybe the last time my dad went to the second last year before he passed away. But it was great. He was inducted in the Cauliflower Alley and different pro wrestling Hall of Fames in the WWE as well. So it's great that he got the recognition for what he did for the sport. This is the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame there. That was 2014. No, sure. Geez. It's different levels, as far as shooters and really good mat wrestlers. George Gordienko, Luther Lindsay, who trained a lot with my dad. And there was just so many for best overall workers. Guys who did work out or train in the dungeon, maybe not necessarily with my dad, but they had some workouts there, and maybe taught some lessons to some aspiring rookies. But Billy Robinson, Dory and Terry Funk, Harley Race, and some of the best brawlers would have been Abdul the Butcher, the Stomper, Dr. D, David Schultz. But these are all great money makers for our territory, and on different levels. I just have so much respect for all of them.
Jason,
Definitely.
I'm sorry, Jason, you have a question? No, you're good. So talk about Stampede Wrestling. Obviously, the initial Stampede started back, I believe, it was 1985, and then you started it back up, I believe, in 1999. Talk about Stampede Wrestling and what that meant to Canada as an organization, and quite frankly, to the alumni that not only came through the dungeon, but the folks that wrestled through Stampede that went on to the WWEs, the NWAs, et cetera.
Yeah, well, and actually, the history of Stampede dates back to 1948. My dad first started promoting in Edmonton, and then bought out the promotion in Calgary in 1952, and we ran all the way to the end of 1989. So it was pretty amazing. But we taped live shows at the pavilion, unlike the studio versions of other shows. We taped our matches at the live shows, in front of 1,500, 2,000 people pretty regularly, and it was a live show that was edited in a few hours and aired the next day. So it didn't have a lot of the glitzy special effects and high tech and pyro that shows later did, but for spontaneity and live action and incredible interviews, I think it was one of the most entertaining shows in the industry. We always had the highest TV ratings at the time. But what made Stampede so unique is that it was a blend of styles from so many different influences. We had a lot of top guys that came from Europe, especially the UK. I think really starting with Billy Robinson and Les Thornton and Jeff Ports, and years later, Dynamite Kid and Davey Boy Smith, who really just revolutionized wrestling in the 1980s. But we had a lot of top guys from Japan as well, like Mr. Ito and Mr. Sakurada. A lot of great stars from the U.S., some from Mexico, but it's just so many different cross sections of styles, and they all blended together and worked very well. So it was just a great variety of looks and styles, and wrestlers had to work hard. It was a territory based on solid work and looking convincing and believable. That had to come first before your interview skills, right, or the outfit you wore in the ring. But and I think that's what made Stampede so successful. We weren't just influenced by one style. It was a cross section from all over the world.
Ross, we actually have a couple of questions that have actually filtered into the chat room. I want to remind everybody that the phone numbers, I can't do this as much as I would really like to, are right down there. Toll free, 855-5. I can never do that. 502-4321, 855-502-4321 if you're outside the U.S. If you're within, 702-329-6947. So the first question I'm going to share with you comes from a fan that we call the Chief, Thomas Glenn. Did the Von Erichs ever train in the dungeon with Stu?
None of the sons did. Fritz Von Erich did. Jack Atkinson, Fritz wrestled for us, I think, in the mid to late 50s. I think he was tag teamed with Lou Schulberg, but I think he worked out in the dungeon. I don't know if my dad stretched Fritz. Fritz would have been a pretty tough kid. He was like 6'4", 260, pretty good shape, but I think he definitely trained and worked out in the dungeon. Waldo Von Erich did as well, although they weren't actually related, but they did wrestle as a tag team years later. But none of the sons were ever in the dungeon. I think Kevin visited it when he came to Owen's funeral in 1999, but unfortunately we never had the Von Erichs up. They would have been great because they were a family of wrestling just like the Harts.
Sure. Could you imagine that? Yeah. Could you imagine that relationship, the Harts and the Von Erichs? I mean, that would have been off the charts. Matt, do you have a question from anybody there?
Yeah, I got a question of my own, actually.
Okay.
When WrestleMania 26, when the whole Hart family was involved with Bret and Vince's match, how was it to be like involved in WrestleMania, having the whole family there surrounded by that many people? How was that experience?
It was great to have the family there. I mean, we had the entire family there pretty much to celebrate my dad's induction in the Hall of Fame and I guess partake in this lumberjack match with Vince McMahon. But that was kind of a disappointment, actually. The way that match was scripted, where there's like 10 Harts on the outside and we're all ganging up on Vince, even though he'd done some dastardly things to Bret. And Vince had no allies or anybody on the outside of the ring. That to me just didn't make any sense. And I thought the match was kind of disappointing, even though Bret got his revenge, for the Montreal screw job and all. But the match itself was kind of disappointing. The Hall of Fame induction and having the whole family there together for photo ops and just a celebration of my dad's induction in WrestleMania. That was a lot of fun.
Oh.
We have another comment if you want to share that one that came through.
Thomas Glenn, Chief, said Ed Whalen is a great announcer. Yeah, definitely, in the mix there. So one of our comments from our good time listeners, long time listeners.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, there must be something in the water with people named Thomas, because another fan, Thomas Burnett, asks, now, I know you basically had a drink of water within the WWF at the time, in-ring action, but he asks, did you ever have any interest in ever going to the WWF, perhaps post-wrestling career? Were there other opportunities for you offered to get involved with them? And if so, did you turn them down? Just kind of give some history about that.
Not really. When we retired with Stampede at the end of '99, then I pursued a teaching career. Realistically, I didn't have a realistic chance of making it as a wrestler. I was maybe 210 pounds at the most. I was a pretty small guy in a big man's world, and and marginal talent. I might have been lucky to work preliminaries there. I was happy to have a few television matches. I think in 1990, it was around the time Bret and Jim had won the tag team title at SummerSlam in Philadelphia, and that was great. I got to hang out with Bret and Jim and the Legion of Doom and so many other great stars. But I think my role now might be as a historian or as a writer, or maybe adding some perspectives to some of the old classic TV tapes, which WWE has an abundance of in their library. I'd be interested in a role like that now. I'm still a teacher, but I have so many fond memories, and I think it's so important that we preserve the history of wrestling. And,
right on.
Learn so much from the old territories and promotions. So
sure. Hey, we had another question come in that through the chat room that Matt's going to share with you.
Kelby Klein asks, what is the best match you've ever had?
Best match I ever had? Oh, boy. Sometimes the best matches aren't ones that were in front of 5,000 people in a major arena, but, it was probably a tag match my brother Bruce and I had with the Cuban Commandos. I think it was up in Fort McMurray. There's about 800 fans there, but it was great. The fans were live. They were very animated, and it was a thrill for me team up with Bruce. I didn't get to team up with Bruce too often, but it was great, and they were just super guys to work with. They called it a great match. They knew how to get their heat, and it really helps if you work with established pros.
I have 2 more questions that have come through the chat room, so I'd rather, I think, fire the questions off from our fans than from us. First question also comes from Kelby. Where did it go? Oh, here we go. Who's on your wish list to induct into the Stampede Wrestling Hall of Fame that hasn't been yet? These guys ask good questions, man. We have a very educated audience out there, Ross.
Yeah. I think Lethal Larry Cameron, he was the last reigning North American heavyweight champion in 1999 when the promotion finally closed its doors. And sadly, Larry lost his life after he had a heart attack in, I think it was in Hanover, Bremen, Germany. But just a super guy, a great athlete, and he was on the verge of really making it big in the industry. I think WCW and WWE were interested in him at the time. He was a great Afro-American. Johnny Smith would have been another, who did very well in our promotion and then went on to have a pretty successful career in All Japan. Those ones come to mind. I think my nephews Harry and TJ or Tyson Kidd and
Right.
Even Teddy Hart, who worked in the resurrection of Stampede from 1999 to about 2004. Just as a newer generation stars who were really well trained, who all got their start in the dungeon, and made it very successful in Japan and Mexico and WWE and other promotions. They would certainly come to mind.
Right on. You've got a plethora of a list. Our listener, Kelby Klein, I mean, she's great. She's sending out hellos to everybody, to all of us here on the show. Even our bird is watching, sending hellos from the bird. We've gone to the birds on this show,
Yes,
haven't we?
we have.
We have certainly gone. One more question, then we'll let you go. And again, we appreciate you taking time with us this morning. You kind of touched on the wrestlers here in the United States that have kind of come through the dungeon. One of our listeners out there, where did it go? They wanted to know one of your stories from England. I'll find the name here in a second, but Tom Burke. Can you share a wrestling story from England?
Yeah, Owen and I were walking through the streets of London, I think through the Chelsea district. It was on a Saturday night, and we had the night off. We weren't wrestling that night, and we were pretty young. I think I was about 23 and Owen was about 18, 19, and it was our first promotion we'd actually ever wrestled in. We worked in England before we ever had any matches in Stampede in Calgary, but we were encountered by about 5 guys. They were just some punks or thugs, and they decided they were going to try and rob us. And anyway, they approached us and kind of surrounded us, and we ended up getting into a brawl with about 5 of them. I chased one of them down the street and got on top of one guy who was just hammering on him while I had him on a car, and Owen was fighting 2 other guys, and we actually got through it fine. Luckily they didn't have weapons or anything, and some police officers were coming from down the street. But it was funny, and after the fight was over and we came out of it pretty much unscathed, we started to kind of take off so we didn't get arrested by the police because we were foreigners there.
Well, that was good.
That's a smart move.
That was a good move.
And when I stepped off the curb, all of a sudden I sprained my ankle. Like just
Oh, jeez. My
like
goodness.
not even in the brawl or fighting with these guys or chasing after them, and then just walking away after and stepping off the curb. I sprained my ankle, and then I had to wrestle like that for the next 3 weeks, wrapping and taping my ankle. So, but it was interesting. It was a bonding experience for Owen and I,
Sure.
and he certainly held his own. I'm glad I had him with me, because if I had been by myself, even against 3 or 4 guys,
Sure.
my chances wouldn't have been very good. But
Ross,
that's a story I remember from England.
We have about 30 seconds left, so I'm going to ask for just whoever comes off the top of your head. 3 current wrestlers, or as close to current as possible, that today's wrestling fan would know, that have come out or have had some involvement with the dungeon?
Well, I'm going to sound very partial here, but Davey Boy Smith Jr., Harry Smith, Tyson Kidd, who's injured. I don't know if he'll ever be able to come back from retirement, but he's an agent with the WWE. And my infamous nephew, Teddy Hart, he seems to be spending more times behind bars than in the ring these days, but they all,
I think all of us, I think I speak for all of us here that we're glad you said something and not us.
Teddy's actually done a couple appearances
I know,
for me
that's
at
why,
the store. So
that's why it's like, no, I'm glad he said something and we didn't put it out there.
But certainly, though, I think they've all got great potential in any of the major organizations, and they're very well trained, had great influences on them, and wrestling's in their blood. So
right on.
Those three came to mind, even though I'm somewhat partial to them because they're my nephews.
Yeah, well, I guess I should have put a disclaimer out there. Non-heart related question.
I have to add my niece Natalia to that.
Absolutely.
And I was just going to ask that: is she still the only female that's come up through the dungeon?
Absolutely, she is. Yeah. And,
we got any way we can get her on the show to talk about it?
Running female wrestler in the WWE. I don't think anyone's had a longer contract than her, and she's still a great star. I think a future world champion. But she just had incredible longevity there. Just a great worker. Has a positive attitude. She never gets in trouble in the ring, and just an incredible role model for so many females.
Do you know anybody that could possibly help us get Natty on the show someday to talk about her experience in the dungeon?
I'll approach her. I think if she gets a clearance from WWE, she'd be happy to be on the show.
Well, that would be great. I kind of say that tongue in cheek because we know the WWE is involved in all of that. But if there's even the slightest chance, it would be great to have her on as well. Listen, Ross, thank you so much. We got to let you go.
Absolutely.
Listen, we will love to have you come back on because my chat room is blowing up with more questions and stuff. And, and any of the Hart guys, if Brett's available, he wants to come on, anybody. Let's do a whole Hart thing on the next time around.
Absolutely.
A Hart roundtable.
Fantastic.
Ross,
it was a pleasure to be on.
Thank you, Ross.
Okay, all the best, guys. Take care.
Thank you so much, Ross.
Regards to everybody there. Ross Hart from the legendary Hart Foundation joining us from the comfort of his home. And again, we thank him for taking the time to do it. And quite frankly, I got to give credit where credit is due. Mr. Aaron Ellicus knows the Hart family because he also originally from the Calgary, Canada area. So he actually asked us last week if we wanted to make this connection. We're like, heck yeah. So thank you, Mr. A.A. Ron E. And of course, welcome to Ross. All right. Thank you to Ross. Okay. With that, I don't even remember. Do we have any commercials to run for 30 seconds? I don't even remember.
I think we have one.
We have one. Power Play
There's
Sports.
that one place.
There's this one sports place. All right. When we come back on the other side, we got more wrestling news to talk about, from Money in the Bank to NXT's announcements to whatever you guys want to talk about. Phone lines are still open. 30 seconds, we'll be back right after we hear from our sponsor, some Power Play Sports Place. So hang tight. For all your sports collectibles in Las Vegas, stop by Power Play Sports Collectibles in the Boulevard Mall. Power Play has a large selection of items from all your favorite teams, specializing in the Vegas Golden Knights, Las Vegas Raiders, and pro wrestling. Power Play Sports Collectibles has an online store if you prefer the online shopping experience, plus they ship worldwide. So if you're looking for that sports collectible for yourself or that special someone, check out Power Play Sports Collectibles online at www.powerplaysportscards.com or at the Boulevard Mall. All right, we are back live. Thoughts Count Anywhere. Aaron Phillips, Scott Hosey, Matt Mullen, Jason Piper, Aaron Ellicus. Again, thank you to Ross Hart for joining us. And by the way, before I forget, once again, as always, we thank all of our first responders for everything that they are doing to keep everybody safe now, before, after, moving forward. We certainly thank you for that. Phone lines are wide open now. Not that they haven't been this entire time, but we appreciate stuff coming through the chat room as well.
I have one comment. And that is, I love the old time wrestling. You and I go, with the old folks here.
Yep.
But all these other shows have all the new current wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I like to talk about the territory days, the AWA. When WWF was up in the
Triple WF,
yes.
That's right. Worldwide wrestling.
Up in the North Atlantic, you had
right.
NWA, you had Stampede up in Canada. Here in those territory days, the stories are a lot better, in my opinion.
Yeah, and what was nice when they went to the different territories, because you did not have internet, you didn't have television, you didn't have cable, these guys like a Flair, like a Hart, like all these guys, they can go from one territory to another
Yes.
and tell completely different stories.
Well, I think I've shared with you and Matt, I had a collection of memorabilia stored in my storage unit from Nick Bockwinkel, which is now in the WWE library.
Right.
One file was great. It was Terry Funk, and I opened his file, and there was the actual Western Union telegram when he won the NWA World Championship.
Wow.
And it was sent to all the other territories to say,
Make the announcement.
please recognize Terry
Wow.
Funk. And I took pictures, I took copies, you name it.
Yeah.
But it was just, that to me was like history. Because, now you pick up your phone, your tablet, and within seconds,
Well, Wrestling Illustrated and those magazines back in the day were the Bible for
yes, they
territory
were.
news.
Yes, they were the wrestling rags. So.
Absolutely. No, that's a great point, though. And look, Ross, all the way up to Stu, and everybody that's come through that dungeon, you talk about history. And last week we talked about family dynasties.
Yes.
And I actually brought up the Hart Foundation, but to me they are a dynasty because of everybody that is associated with that Hart Foundation.
Sure.
So, Matt, your thoughts, sir? Anything. Thoughts count anywhere. Say whatever you want.
Yes, absolutely. We're waiting.
That was
Patiently.
really cool. Ross was a really cool guest, and hopefully we can have more members of the Hart Foundation.
That would be great.
The Hart family on soon.
Absolutely. That would be great. All right. Time to move on, please. All right. WWE report. Shall we begin with some comments on Money in the Bank? It was, first of all, it was one of the shortest pay-per-view. When it ended, I was like, is that all?
6:30
I have-
it ended. 6:30
Right.
ended.
It was 2.5 hours. It's one of the shortest they've had in like 10 years.
I know you're going to ask me one comment. I'm going to have two comments.
Of course. Give us your top 5.
Yes, exactly. The only match that I even cared about
Right.
or actually enjoyed was Seth and Drew. That was probably the highlight. I thought the Money in the Bank matches were garbage. And then, at least with the Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, you know what's next. You know the Fiend's
Fiend,
coming.
right.
Yeah. So, other than that, they could have thrown that pay-per-view away.
I thought it was kind of cool going through the building, and I thought one of the funniest parts of the men's match was being in McMahon's office with AJ and Daniel Bryan when they turn around and they kind of fumble to put the chairs back and all that other stuff. I thought it was pretty funny myself.
I thought it was kind of cool to finally see if there was an actual T-Rex head in his
Yeah,
office.
that's
or not.
right. Well, there was a story that came out, which is why he didn't want a big tussle in his office because he was fearful of that dinosaur head getting damaged and falling off the wall.
That's why he was standing right in front of it.
Exactly. But listen, I thought it had moments. Look, there was even something that came out about Roman Reigns. We know on TV, all the commentators have been instructed not to mention Roman Reigns' name, but yet throughout the Money in the Bank match, they passed posters
yeah.
and stuff, and I like the way they even kind of did the thing with AJ with the Undertaker, and kind of went back to that match with the smoke in the office and the
Yeah.
poster. So I like the way they kind of intertwined that. Listen, the underdog won the guys. Otis, I was a little the hokey with the finish, but the guy's afraid of heights, so it was probably the only way they were going to get that done without seeing him go up a ladder. And he was having issues up on the top of the building because he was afraid of heights, from what I read.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. Shit. All right, and then, of course, the aftermath of the women's Money in the Bank, Asuka winning the briefcase, we all thought was a standard thing. Did anybody see? Apparently, the secret of Becky's pregnancy was truly that. And Asuka.
It was truly a secret.
Yeah, and Asuka apparently had literally, from what they say, no idea what was about to happen in the opening segment.
Yeah, and it was a great, emotional show of, surprise, and it kind of they all broke character, which I think is great.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a big event for Becky and Seth. I wish them well, and you know what? Asuka's got a belt. She have one of the horsemen gone. I see an opening for another lady in WWE. Matt, you want to take that from there?
Was she on your commercial?
Possibly.
As
Really
it-
featured on your commercial?
Yes.
As the New Day would say, who, right? Who could it be? Anyway, all right. Let's stay on Monday. Money in the Bank that night. Chapter 1, The Last Ride. You guys all watch that? I don't. Okay.
Yeah,
I
it
hope
was really
everybody out
good.
there is watching. I thought it was great.
It's a great documentary. The fact that Mark lets you into his world, which, for those who know in the business, Undertaker, Mark Calloway, does not allow anybody in his personal life. Pretty much when he does appearances, he stayed in character the entire time. When he's seen in airports, pretty much in character. So for him to do that documentary over the past few years, obviously he knows it's his last ride, and God bless him. It was very well done.
I find it interesting, though, for a guy like you said who doesn't allow people into his private room, his private life. It's interesting how the filming started in 2013. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
But a lot of that filming, don't forget, is also, the WWE or whatever they want to call themselves in the media,
Right.
Colossal Video. They've been doing background stuff for years.
Right.
So I'm sure he's done some of that years ago.
Could be, sure.
It's probably going to be put out eventually, so why not start?
Absolutely. I look forward to Chapter 2 on Sunday. Dark Side of the Ring last night was the story of the Road Warriors. I watched it. These guys have not watched it yet. Great story. Next week is the season finale. And we didn't want to really bring this up with Ross to have him uncomfortable, but the season finale of Dark Side of the Ring next week is the Owen Hart tragedy that night. So that's an interesting, emotional story. We'll see how that pans out as well in terms of
And I'm sure Ross always hears Montreal Screwjob,
Right.
Brett this, Brett that, Owen this, Owen
Right.
that. And it's good to talk to him about Stampede
yes.
and him and Stu in the
Yep.
dungeon, those type of things.
Matt, why don't you talk about the Intercontinental belt? Something happened today.
Sami Zayn was relinquished of his Intercontinental Championship because he hasn't been on TV or anything because of the fears of coronavirus. I think that's why he hasn't been on TV, but they took the belt from him, and they're going to start an Intercontinental title tournament on SmackDown.
Do you think he should have had the belt removed because of circumstances that he could not control? I mean, hell, Brock Lesnar certainly didn't defend his belt every 30 days, and he never had it taken off of his waist.
True.
Could be something in the back, too, locker room. Honestly, none of us will ever know.
Oh, yeah, of course not. I get that, but it's just something interesting to talk about. By the way, Thomas Burnett asks, do we think Seth is leaving too? Because Becky's, I don't see any signs that Seth is leaving. Not with the way the Monday Night Messiah thing is starting to capture.
No.
He might leave for like a month or two when she has the baby,
Right.
but he's not going anywhere, I doubt.
702
change those diapers.
702-329-6947 is the call-in line. If you're outside the U.S., please call 855-502-4321. Twitter, hashtag ThoughtsCountAnywhere for your comments. They will appear live like that one right there, as well as the fact reminding you if you are a business owner or have a message that you want to get out. For a week, man, we're averaging, 30, 50, 60,000 views on our shows per week. You really need to call us and get some information about how you can ride that momentum, and email us at info@thoughtscountanywhere.com. Now that we're all connected to that email. Anyway.
Our producer's saying nothing
I know.
tonight.
He's not. We keep backing him into a corner, and to his blessing, he's staying silent. Okay. Pick a topic, guys. What's next you want to hit
Hey,
on?
Jason, you're awful quiet over there tonight.
He's in the dark. We
Yes.
got to get a light over there. We got to get you a flashlight, like when you're camping.
Take a topic.
Pick a topic.
Actually, I'm going to touch on the thing with Becky Lynch and Asuka. I don't see Asuka holding that belt much as far as for a long period of time, because she doesn't have that power of crowd draw like Becky has, Charlotte has, Alexa
T-shirts,
has.
merchandise, the whole
They
gimmick.
need to have someone that fits that, because as I told Matt the other day, Becky was the female version of John Cena. Everybody wanted her shirt, everybody wanted her merchandise. Now she's gone.
But what was
She's
the
going to sell
meme?
more mom shirts than any other woman's going to sell a shirt.
Wasn't there a meme, something about Seth costing the WWE more money or something that we were talking about?
I'll let Man handle that one.
That was
FCC's
all-
listening, I'm
No,
sure.
FCC doesn't regulate internet. At least not yet.
You really want me to say this on the
Sure,
air?
why not? Let's just go down that.
There's nothing dirty.
why
There wasn't
not?
anything bad in there, was there?
No, it said
The
Seth
insinuation.
Rollins,
That's all.
it said Seth Rollins' sperm cost WWE more money than AEW has.
There you go. I mean, it is what it is, right? Thomas Burnett, on the topic of Becky and all of that, he's actually bringing up a discussion. Is it safe for Seth to actually be going to work, then going back home to Becky because of the fear of the coronavirus?
True.
I think that is valid, but I don't see Seth being away for 9, 10, 11, 12 months at this point.
Well, if you've been watching WWE Monday night programming, a lot of it is still taped.
Of course.
And then also, I'm getting really tired of seeing the same 8 to 10 wrestlers.
Absolutely.
They just mix them up, and why don't they just take the salt and pepper shakers, move them around a little bit, and rename them or whatever? But I'm sorry, it's there's no entertainment value anymore.
Hence, go ahead.
This storyline with Seth is boring. I mean, I'm sorry, but Seth, he's a lot better than this.
Yeah, but the problem is you've got the 8 or 9, 10 wrestlers that are there right
Yep.
now because of the coronavirus. They live in the Florida area,
Right.
travel, so they taped a bunch of it. So they just really need to.
But again, it's not through any fault of their own
No.
because of the situation. But yes, it does certainly get a little tricky with that. I had a thought that I was going to bounce into there, but of course it bounced right out of my head.
It's easy to do at your age.
It certainly is. And so, by the way, as I look around this flipping room, I guess I am the elder statesman. So just respect your elders.
Are you
that is-
sure? Aaron, the producer's not older than you?
No, he may have more hair that's gray than I
Okay,
do. But
okay.
I know what I was going to say. Courtesy of what you just brought up, if we had the theme song of "Welcome Back," the wild card seems to be coming back to Raw and SmackDown, where everybody can cross lines
Yep.
now because they need talent on all the shows.
Yeah,
They
So-
got to do something. They had the worst rating they've ever had for Monday Night Raw.
after a pay-per-view. Or what they call a pay-per-view now.
Well, whatever it is.
Okay,
Let's- yeah.
next topic.
Look-
Thank you.
Yes. Where do you want to go next, guys? SummerSlam, looking for a new location. Boston says no, thank you. How about Seth Rollins giving praise to Scarlett and our friend Mr. Karrion Kross?
A lot of people have given praise to, well, I still call him Killer.
Yes.
But needless to say, or my daughter calls him Uncle Kev. Needless to say, he's gotten praise from Seth. He's also gotten praise from Shawn Michaels.
How about the
a couple of-
comment Jim Cornette made?
Yeah, Jim. Take your meds, Jim.
Do you want to paraphrase what he said for those who may not be in the know?
Well, basically, he put over Scarlett more than Kevin by far, and I'm not taking anything away from Scarlett. First of all, she's a great talent in the ring. If you've actually watched her work, she's obviously stunning, a beautiful woman, and those two together make a great team. Basically, he compared them to Mark Marrow and Sable. And
I think I'd be more pissed at being compared to Mero.
yeah, no kidding. Especially who he lost the wife to.
Wow.
Eat, sleep, F5, repeat.
But needless to say, Kevin or Karrion.
Carrion. I ordered my shirt, by the way. Mine's on the way.
Yeah.
I ordered
Who had
one.
their shirt here first?
No, you
Me.
did.
Yeah.
You did. But I also ordered it through Rakuten, so I got to save like 1.5% off the price too. So I got a little discount, I bet.
Cool.
I paid less than you did.
I bet you did.
It's because I'm Jewish. But anyway,
But I think Karrion and Scarlett, and for those who watched AEW tonight,
send your email.
they do have a good vignette tonight, which I think is definitely a huge push for him.
We're on
Speaking of-
NXT, not AEW.
Now, speaking of NXT, there was some announcement or something that was big to do between Shawn and Triple H, Matt.
They announced that they're going to have their next pay-per-view for NXT, which is going to be in your house.
My house?
Which is
I don't have
gonna-
enough room. Sorry. Little Abbott and Costello there.
But since it's the 25th anniversary of the In Your House pay-per-views, they're bringing them back.
So it's going to be in your house in the Performance Center.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
From our house.
Yeah, from our house. And they have the one fan. Oh, never mind. The fan spinning.
Inside source, according to Thomas Glenn, says that they are tested every day after training and before shows and everything else. So, according to that. So,
I get tested when I leave a bar, too. But we've gone down
didn't we
that
get
rabbit.
tested as we walked in here
Yes,
tonight? There was a
we
little
did.
bottle there as we came in. But anyway. All right. So, that was that. Vince McMahon demonstrated a WrestleMania bump to convince Gronk to show him the spot was safe. What do you think? What spot was that? Was there any indication as to what bump that
I
was?
think
actually
he
was?
jumped off that little podium thing that they were on.
Oh, when he captured the
Could
title?
you imagine being nervous and then seeing like a 70-year-old man do it? And
That
be
man
like,
is in better shape than all of us. Who are we kidding?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You go from nervous to, oh, crap, I have to do it now.
That's right.
Don't hurt the boss. Don't hurt the boss.
That's right. Geez, 702-329-6947. Give us your likes or dislikes regarding Money in the Bank. We have Backlash now that's coming up, which I'm going to lead into the ending segment yesterday between Edge and Randy Orton, which everybody loved.
Not me.
Until, well, hang on. Oh, maybe you didn't like it for the same reason. According to the guys that busted open, as I was listening to them this morning, Charlie Caruso ruined the spot at the end by talking. Why didn't you like it?
I know I'm going to reiterate what I have, and it pisses off a lot of our listeners. Edge is way past his prime. Please, Edge, keep your history, keep the memories, and stay retired, because the only reason the match at WrestleMania was entertaining was it was not a wrestling match, and that's kind of what Randy told him.
Mm-hmm.
And because I just don't see it. There's too much ring rust, and don't do it.
He's got 30 days to get some of the rust off, yeah?
Okay, if it's not already taped. But no, seriously, it just... Randy's a Hall of Famer going into, and he's towards the end of his career, but he's still in great shape and a great worker in the ring. I hate seeing Taker in the ring, to be honest with you. I want to remember them the way they were. I don't want to see Ric Flair with short hair acting like a cartoon character. I want to see him holding the NWA, 10 pounds of gold, and fighting Dusty. I'm sorry, I'm old school.
You want me to bring that belt in for you next week? So I feel like I have that belt.
Do you have the
collection.
one that has the knot in the globe from Harley Race's head? The original?
No, not the original.
Okay.
But mine is signed by Diamond Dallas Page. Jason, you had a comment.
I gotta agree with you, Scott, on that.
No.
Yes.
That's
yes.
going to go to his head. Don't.
I don't care.
Send your hate mail to
somebody
Scott
used-
at thoughtscountanywhere.com.
Somebody always disagreed with me on this show. I feel like I'm so special right now.
It's the fact that, and in Taker's last ride, the chapter 1, he even said it. He goes, he's had fans come up to him and say, I watched Taker when he did this, and this to his son.
But he was telling right. Yeah.
And he goes, and then when the father said it to the son, well, back in my day, Taker did this, and he's like, it really hurts me to hear that.
Back in my day. Yeah, because it does.
Right.
And it's
We
so
kind
true.
of expect that when you've been in the business for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's sad to see that, and the wrestlers nowadays, the ones that are the legends, stay legendary, stay the way that we remember you from when back in the day.
But you know what? It's easy to say when you're not an athlete performing on that level. Look at how many professional athletes across all sports retire, and then a year or two later they come back because they missed the spotlight and the routine and the discipline.
But Edge can literally stay in the back and help out that way. He doesn't need to
Sure,
go in the
I
ring.
agree with that. And he's done TV, which he's done successfully, and I agree with that. But I'm just saying in general scope, when you have a guy like that, I mean, look at MJ and look at all these guys who look at Gronk.
MVP.
MVP
is horrible
Yeah.
in the ring right
Yeah,
now. He's a
absolutely.
great trainer. Give him that and
Yes.
back in the back. But the fact of they don't have enough wrestlers, they're having him wrestle.
Right.
I'm sorry, Taker. Big analogy that I've always used. It's like watching Willie Mays with the Mets.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. How about Gronk? How about Gronk though? I mean, do you think that? I mean, not to digress off of wrestling, we were talking about him a second ago. He retired, but was that all part of the ploy to then go to Tampa Bay or wherever Brady was going to sign?
He's had a lot of injuries over the past years, so I think
Yes.
having a year off of football
Was probably good.
Really did him well, and everybody knew he was going to come back. I mean, if you didn't think he was going to come back, then something's wrong with you because he kept too close.
You're under a stone.
Yeah.
All right, we are dwindling down within less than 10 minutes, so I think what we do before we move forward with anything else on our agenda, we're going to step away for a quick 30-second timeout so we can pay somewhat of a bill. Power Play Sports Collectibles. By the way, do you want to make an announcement while we're here about Power Play Sports Collectibles? Podcast?
I already gave you the discount.
I don't want a discount. I'm talking about the podcast.
The podcast, yes. Saturday mornings, 8 a.m., Power Play Sports Collectibles podcast, or television show, which I like to call it, because I
There you
don't
go.
think we're just a podcast.
Think of it as QVC.
Yeah, we're going to come back on... now you're going to make me pull up my calendar. We're going to come back to the airwaves on May 30th, barring our producer having some free time here at 8 a.m. on Saturday mornings.
I don't think he has to
Trust
go
me.
too far.
I was going to say, and nor does he have anything going on because I'm here early
Yes.
on Saturday.
But don't forget, the listeners have been loyal to
Yes.
me, the customer base, the vendors that do the shows. Saturday, May 30th, 8 a.m. We'll be right here on the network. My Facebook page, Power Play Sports Collectibles, will be there talking sports collectibles and things at the Boulevard Mall.
So with that, 30-second timeout as we bring to you Power Play Sports Collectibles. We'll be right back. For all your sports collectibles in Las Vegas, stop by Power Play Sports Collectibles in the Boulevard Mall. Power Play has a large selection of items from all your favorite teams, specializing in the Vegas Golden Knights, Las Vegas Raiders, and pro wrestling. Power Play Sports Collectibles has an online store if you prefer the online shopping experience, plus they ship worldwide. So if you're looking for that sports collectible for yourself or that special someone, check out Power Play Sports Collectibles online at www.powerplaysportscards.com or at the Boulevard Mall. Welcome back. What's that song that ends that way? 5, 4, 3, 2. Mr. Tom or something? Agent Tom or something? But I'm glad we got rid of it for those who don't know the 666 number. So anyway, 702-329.
Is that boom mic still moving by itself?
It is, yeah. One day we'll share that story. All right, we have less than 10 minutes, so why don't you quickly share the major news about Impact, which you always love to share there, Mr. Matt.
Tessa wasn't on Impact, so there ain't no big news.
There you go, exactly.
I do think it's interesting that they're putting a lot of little posters on their website of so-and-so re-signed and so-and-so re-signed. And I'm sitting there going,
They're missing somebody.
Yeah,
and who cares?
exactly.
Somebody's contract's almost up, and they haven't announced that one.
Well, I do know that there's a puppy play date in the future. You know, our puppy and their puppy, and you know.
Major Tom, thank you. I knew there was a major something with that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in there. We talking about puppies? Where's Jerry Lawler? Jerry Lawler here talking about
No,
puppies?
not those puppies.
Oh, not those puppies? Okay. Thomas Burnett says, do we think Cesaro will finally get the push for the IC belt?
I hope so. When
It's
it
time,
wins
isn't
him
it?
in there, I kind of hope
Yes,
he
no?
wins.
Man.
He doesn't sell T-shirts.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he was pretty with the Cesaro section and all that stuff.
Yeah, but his character has to play to a crowd. And right now, we don't know when a crowd's coming back. So
When he grabbed that beach ball and like tore it up, that was like my favorite Cesaro moment.
Absolutely, absolutely. But interesting question to ponder. Okay, we only have a few minutes left.
AJ Styles for the IC belt.
Really?
He sells T-shirts.
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy be another one, just to put the Hardy over the other Hardy in another organization.
Oh.
Could
That
be
one
possible.
hitting people with golf carts, the other one champion.
That was an ugly spot where they used the golf cart. I mean, I don't know how,
I
but
got hit by Tully Blanchard in the golf cart.
okay, never mind.
You know,
you win. That's your problem.
The hard way?
That's a
yeah.
That's a you problem. Okay, hey, why don't we go over some celebrity birthdays before we go over some pop culture stuff, guys? Why don't you share some birthdays?
I'll start with Scarlett. So obviously she had a great birthday. She's with her hubby or whatever you want to call him, Killer Cross. Carrion. Yeah, because he posted in a lot of his sites, you know, the love of his life and happy birthday. And yes, happy birthday, Scarlett. Godfather locally here, for those who know him, Bear, Papa Shango. We got him.
Okay, why don't you guys go back and forth? Let's read them off.
Zack Ryder's birthday is this week, along with Earl and Dave Hebner, a couple legendary referees.
The Superfly Jimmy Snuka.
Superfly. How about the fourth one down? Why are you guys skipping the fourth one?
Farouk.
Damn!
That was the worst damn I've ever heard.
Well, I don't have
exactly.
as deep a voice as
That
he
was
does.
quick.
Damn!
Damn!
Well, you guys were taking forever to get there. For crying out
Earl
loud.
and Dave were born on the same day. I had to do that.
And the thunder roll.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, one of them was involved in the Montreal screw job,
Yes.
whichever one that is.
One that's still running from Brad.
Exactly.
He was running for his
Yeah.
life.
That night, if
That's
you
right.
watch the documentary, he basically says he got out of the ring, went right
He
to
was
his car.
told to. They
Yeah,
told him,
they
don't
told
even stop. Go.
Go right to your car.
Do not stop. Go past go. Do not collect $200, man. Get right in that car. Mike Kanellis, right? Alex Wright. Whatever happened to him? He had such a great early run in WCW, and then
From what I've heard on other podcasts, he's still doing stuff in like Europe.
oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Over in Germany.
All right. That's because he had a very short run in WWE at one point too.
Very
Das
short.
Wonder Kid.
Yeah, he was big in WCW, but when he came over, he was done for.
His last character in WCW was Berlin.
That's right. Oh my goodness, bring it up, nightmares. Dash Wilder, the Road Dogg, right? And then the big one,
Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant. Then next week, we'll talk about this next week, but the man featured in the finale of Dark Side of the Ring, which we talked about, he's got a birthday coming up too, doesn't he?
No, actually, his was
This was last week.
last week.
That's what I said. He had a birthday last week.
Why is it towards the end of the show you...
Because I get so happy with our guests, and we just see that Ross is still watching our show on remote. So I'm glad he heard everything bad you guys had to say about him. We love you, Ross.
His name is Aaron Phillips.
That's right. Send your email.
Aaron at thoughtscountanywhere.com.
Okay, very cool. So Ross is still out there. We thank you so much. Hopefully you're enjoying what you're seeing. He's actually watching us to determine if it's worth asking Natty to come on.
Shape up, guys. Come
Exactly.
on,
All right.
come on.
As we
Natty's coming on.
Oh, he waved? Okay, he waved. That's a good sign. I hope it was a full hand wave and not the single finger
Yeah.
hand. Yeah, right, exactly.
Natty, new Raw Women's Champion. There we go.
There you go. She's well deserved. I mean, she's so overdue for that.
She,
Anyway,
she is a true professional and is teaching a lot of the ladies
Absolutely.
how to handle themselves. In the
Absolutely,
ring.
she is.
pop culture, gentlemen. Let's talk about the couple items we have.
I'm going to stir up a lot of shit with this.
Go ahead. You go first then.
Dun, dun, dun.
Raiders released their schedule, and the tickets for the games, start at $1,000 for the Monday night game versus the Saints. That is if it's played here.
Why, what were they saying about moving it? They can't not have it here now.
Well, they might not have it in front of fans, for one.
Oh, well.
And
Can we get a stimulus check for tickets?
yeah. And the other thing is,
That's stupid.
there is an organization called the Raiders who have made a phone call to Salt Lake City to see if a stadium might be available. I mean, everybody's worried that the Rams and the Chargers might play here because of their stadium situation.
But supposedly that was on target to be done in July.
yeah, okay.
I'm just reading what the early reports were.
What were you watching, CNN or what?
He was watching TMZ.
RN and Raiders News Network.
For somebody who knows somebody in the construction side of the house, they are still far behind schedule.
All right, I
They're
got
gonna
someone
go-
in there too, but that's good. You've got to know that's
Yeah.
fine. Can you look up on your phone when Alex Wright was in the WWE? Because
Matter?
Thomas Burnett is asking. So
Oh, okay.
that's why.
if,
No, no.
Thomas, if it was you, we'd
Wasn't
skip.
for me. No,
I still am working on Thomas's shirt. Okay, I remembered that.
His shirt. I know you.
Wow, you forgot.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't forget.
We
See,
remember.
I delegate. See, that Wisconsin thing. We got a shirt for you, Thomas. It's
do-
all good. So we're going to get that date
Where's
for.
his medication?
All right. Yeah, exactly. Can you put it in IV?
Yeah.
2 squirts.
Have you been watching Scott lately? Is that what you're referring to? Anyway.
That's a casting couch question.
No comment.
NBA could hold the playoffs in Las Vegas.
Nope.
Okay. I didn't even hear that. I didn't know they were going to do that. Although Vegas was at one time thought of as a hub city
True.
at one point.
The commissioner was talking about opening, using the strip to host the players and use like T-Mobile and
Gotcha.
all the
Thomas
other
and
places
Mack and
around
things
here
like that,
to
yeah.
host the NBA playoffs all in one place, just to do it quickly, probably with no fans.
According to Thomas, sod was actually laid down today at the stadium.
They got to start growing it somewhere.
Hopefully it's grass and not weed, or the right grass. Anyway.
So Alex Wright was only a part of WWE for the invasion, and it was for a split second.
Really? I thought he spent a little more time in WWE than just
Now it was only to be a part of the invasion when they all came in.
when
Yeah.
Shane bought. Okay.
And
All
then
right.
after that, he was gone.
Get their last paycheck and leave.
Pretty much.
Can you cash this? No, go to a casino, get chips, and you can cash it down there. So, Thomas, I hope that answered your question. Okay, and the last thing, yes, Jerry Stiller, part of the Mira and Stiller and Mira comedy husband and wife team. Of course, a lot of people know him more recently from Seinfeld, and then with
King of Queens.
King of Queens as well. 90-something, I believe, is 92, 91.
I think it was 92.
Yeah.
And you
so,
know what? I'm going to stir more shit. I liked him better than his son.
you know what? You're not
agree.
stirring shit. I agree with you. I think Jerry was so much funnier,
Than Ben.
naturally funnier.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think Ben is better served behind the camera. You know,
Yeah.
the dodgeball movie and all that sort of stuff. Nah, didn't do much for me. So I do agree with you on that. And you know, I have Sirius in my car, so I listen to the comedy channels whenever they bring up a skit from he and his wife all the time.
Awesome.
You're just geared to listen to it. All right, we only have a couple of seconds left, gentlemen. Any closing thoughts? Again, we want to thank Ross Scott, who is Ross Scott. Scott, you got me all messed up. Ross Hart.
Yes.
Hart. Sorry,
Thank
Ross.
you, Ross, for coming on in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
thank you
what I
so
said.
much.
Anything else? Jason, final thoughts going out.
Thanks to the first responders and everybody helping Nevada somewhat try to get back to normal.
Yeah.
Stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe. See you in a few weeks on Thoughts.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, Thoughts Count Anywhere, and also Power Play Sports Collectibles. And guess what? You're going to be stuck with me on this Saturday on another show.
Yes, this Saturday, Our House, Our Voice, 10 a.m. right here. Sitting in with my guest co-host, Mr. Scott Hosey will be co-hosting with me. Alan Snell will be on to talk about his latest article about the prices, the resale prices of the Raiders tickets, among other sports-related stuff. So jointhefan.com. Check it out. I believe everybody in this room is a member but one. That Jason will go unnamed. But
Wow, thanks.
Jason54 at thoughtskountanywhere.com.
anyway, So 10 a.m. and then Twin Brothers noontime. And then, listen, I got 5 shows now on this network. I'm lucky I even know what day it is. And I've got more in the works. With that, have a great week, everybody. Aaron Phils to the rest of the crew. The Fiend is on the way. Be safe, be happy, be merry. We'll see you next week right here on Thoughts Counting Where. Thank you, Ross.
Bye-bye.